Hello everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with my May 2020 book haul. So these are going to be all of the books that I picked up in the month of May. So before we get into that though, I do want to point out the new background I have. So if you're wondering why I have this or where it came from, I will try to link in whichever side the cards go on up above my movie shelf vlog. So we built these, my father and I built these and put them up recently. And so this is my new backdrop. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. And if you're interested in that process, check out that video that I linked above. All right, so last month, my entire book haul was 100% digital. So this month, I do have some digital, but I also have some physical novels that I want to talk about. So without further ado, let's dive right in. I'm going to start with my digital purchases, and then I'll move over to everything I bought in the physical form. So first up is Autumn Crow by Cameron Chaney. So that name might be familiar to you if you are a fellow booktuber or someone who watches booktube, because he does have a booktube channel. So this is actually one that he wrote, and it came out toward the end of 2019, and I've wanted it ever since. I haven't pulled the trigger. I really do want to grab the paperback copy of it, but it's a little more expensive paperback. It's one of those like $10 to $12 paperbacks, which, I mean, yes, that's fine. I understand why it is. I'm just not a huge fan of spending that much on a paperback when I'm typically used to spending about 50 cents for a book because I buy them secondhand. But either way, I eventually do want to grab it. But the ebook actually went on sale for 99 cents earlier this month, so I had to pick it up. So Cameron is actually one of the 5 underrated booktubers that I recommended back at the beginning of this channel, the beginning of this year. So check that out if you're interested. He's an awesome booktuber, highly recommend him. So I figured I would grab the book because, you know, I'll see if I enjoy it or not. This takes place in a small town in Ohio. I believe it takes place in Autumn Crow, which is a fictional town in the state of Ohio. So being in Michigan, I'm hoping that I'll enjoy that that Midwest vibe that he's probably going to be rocking. So I'm sure I'm going to like this one. It is a collection of short stories, so if that interests you, definitely check this out. I think the ebook is normally only like $2.99 anyway. So if you just want to give some support to a booktuber, then it's worth buying it even for $2.99. But I grabbed it for 99 cents, so I'm definitely going to check this one out soon. So everything else that I grabbed digitally is actually going to be an audiobook, which is much more what I typically buy digitally. But these next two are part of an Audible 2-for-1 sale. So it was you spend 1 credit and you get 2 books. And this sale is actually still going on. And it's pretty interesting because it's really long, but it's changed out some of the options in the sale, some of the titles, about every 2 or 3 weeks or so. And so I think this was from like the first or second run of these books, of this sale, this past month, and I think they're in like the 3rd set now, which I am contemplating a couple, but I haven't pulled the trigger again. I've only spent the 1 credit on these next 2 titles. So first up is a Grady Hendrix novel called My Best Friend's Exorcism. Now this is probably one that you've heard of because it has been very popular, especially here on BookTube, but just on Goodreads and everywhere in general. This is a pretty well-known story. Now it's not brand new. It came out, I don't know, a number of years ago now, I guess, but it's still pretty popular, so you probably know what it is, but I've heard it described as a mix of like Beaches and The Exorcist. So I don't know. I'm not a big Beaches fan. I've never even seen Beaches, but I love The Exorcist, and it's set in the late 80s, and it's probably going to be, like that style that is really fun to read. So I'm hoping I'm going to enjoy this one, and I probably will, just knowing what I know about it going in. This next book that I grabbed in this 2-for-1 credit sale, I am just thrilled that I finally discovered that one of my favorite, most underrated action movies of all time, Hostage, is actually based on a book written by Robert Crais. I absolutely adore this film and a movie called 16 Blocks. They are both Bruce Willis starring films. 16 Blocks has Most Definite, but man, I love this movie. I don't hear anybody talking about this ever. This one or 16 Blocks. Those are two, I won't call them guilty pleasures because I feel no guilt about it whatsoever, but they are two films that I think they deserve much more credit than they get, because I never hear anyone talking about them, and I love them. Now, I found out that this was actually based on a book, that this film was based on a book. So I have to read the novel now. So I grabbed Hostage by Robert Crais. I can't wait to get to this one. I think it's just going to be a ton of fun. I'm hoping it is half as good as this wonderful movie. And if it's half as good, then I'm going to be very, very pleased. Did you guys see how quickly I grabbed that? I love my shelves. So much fun. It's great. So let's move over to the books that I grabbed from Chirp Books. Now, I've talked about this in the past, and I still feel like nobody likes this website for whatever reason, but I grabbed 5 books from there, and I paid less than $11. These are all audiobooks, by the way. That's a ridiculously good deal. Chirp Books is very limited in what they have, but check it out because it might have something that you like, and that's really all that matters. I was able to find 5 things that sounded interesting to me, and I paid less than $11. So I should also mention that I am not sponsored by Chirp Books at all. I just genuinely like their service, and I think they do a really good job. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. I do have a referral link, though, that would give you 20% off your first purchase, and then I would get 20% off my next purchase if you use it. So if you are interested, might as well get the 20% off. Check out that referral link. I'll try to put that down in the comments below. All right, so with my Chirp Books PSA out of the way, let's actually talk about what I grabbed. So first up is a book called Serial Cortex, and it's written by Chris Yee. Now, I didn't know anything about any of these books heading into this sale or into this purchasing. I just, you know, checked out the books that had interesting covers and then read some good read reviews to see if I would like them or not. And these were the 5 that I came out with. So in this book, the main character is pioneering this technology that allows you to basically jump into somebody's mind. And eventually she wants to complete this project, but she finds that her funds are drying up. So she agrees to take on this bid to basically help the authorities hijack into a serial killer's mind. So this sounds like it'll be something right up my alley. It's sci-fi and kind of future tech. So I always enjoy that type of thing. So I'm sure this is one I'm going to like. So I grabbed this one, and this was only 99 cents on Chirp Books. Another 99-cent pickup is a book called The Infinite, written by John Akers. So this is another sci-fi book, another future tech book. Basically, this one, it almost sounds like a cross between like Hackers and Ready Player One. So the main character has created this, like, these goggles, these glasses that are a mix of augmented reality and virtual reality, and they essentially take the world by storm. All of your personal computing devices are obsolete thanks to these glasses that this person has created. But something happens, I don't know what exactly, but like his stockholders or his shareholders start turning on him, and so in order for him to get out of this dilemma he's in, he decides to start this secret project. When he goes to start it, though, he finds out that hackers have hacked into the system and are basically threatening to destroy civilization as we know it. So it sounds large and big with awesome technology. So I'm really interested to see how this one is. So again, 99 cents. I'm going to check it out. The last 99-cent book I picked up from Chirp Books is a book called Betrayal, written by Pippa DaCosta. So this is actually book 1 of what is currently, as of the recording of this, a 6-book series. And this is another sci-fi. It sounds like an R-rated space opera. So the reason I was interested in this was because of all the negative reviews that were talking about how gory it was and how over the top it was with its violence and its sex. So yeah, sign me up. That sounds right up my alley. It basically is a space opera with like a bounty hunting maybe, or not bounty hunting, but like smuggling involved in it. I don't know. It has a very long description. So if an R-rated space opera with lots of gore, violence, and sex sounds interesting to you, then check it out. I don't know if it's still 99 cents. It might still be, but I figured for $1, I might as well give it a shot. It sounds pretty cool. So the last 99-cent book I grabbed from Chirp Books was Betrayal by Pippa DaCosta, and this is book number 1 of the 1000 Revolutions series. So the final 2 audiobooks I grabbed were a little bit more expensive, but they were still only $3.99. So I'm not going to pass up a $4 audiobook when it's something that looks interesting. So the first one I grabbed is actually a true crime story called Angel of Darkness, and this was written by Dennis McDougal. So this is the story of Randy Kraft, who is better known as the scorecard killer, The Freeway Killer or the Southern California Strangler, I believe were his, nicknames as a serial killer. So this guy is believed to have murdered at least 16 young men between like sometime in the mid 70s to early 80s. I can't remember the exact years, but so honestly, I don't know much about Randy Kraft other than his name and his, nicknames. You guys know that I am a big true crime reader. I hate to say true crime fan because that's not the case, and that sounds awful. But I do read a lot of true crime because I find it fascinating. And so I'm hoping that this book lives up to some of the more recent true crime that I've been reading that has just been excellent. And so I'm really hoping that this one is just as interesting. So Angel of Darkness, written by Dennis McDougall, another audiobook I grabbed for $4. The last audiobook I grabbed this past month is a book called Lineage, written by Joe Hart. Let me repeat the author's name, Joe Hart. So I'm an idiot. And when I first clicked on this, I thought I was getting a cheap audiobook from Joe Hill, who of course is the author of Nosferatu and, is the son of Stephen King. He's an excellent writer. So I was really excited. And then I didn't realize it until after I clicked purchase that the author's name is actually Joe Hart, not Joe Hill. So whatever, it's okay because, all the reviews I read about it were very positive. It's supposed to be a very good supernatural horror story. So this one is about an author who basically has writer's block. He can't write anymore because he keeps having these nightmares about his burial, I guess. And so, of course, it being a supernatural horror story, eventually he goes to a house. I think it's on like Lake Superior, which is interesting. For me, at least, being a Great Lakes, born and raised. But the story itself is probably going to, start introducing ghosts and things like that, otherworldly hauntings of some sort. So we'll see. Again, the reviews are very positive. So even though it isn't a Joe Hill novel, it should be a very good Joe Hart novel. We'll see. All right, so let's move over to the physical books I grabbed this past month. So last month, I did make a trip up to Dollar Tree to grab some things. And if you are a Dollar Tree shopper, you know that they have a relatively good-sized book collection in their stores, and they're only $1. So first up, I grabbed from there for $1 is an Alan Dean Foster novel called Strange Music. So this is so fitting because I had just finished reading an Alan Dean Foster novel before running into the store and finding this. And then, of course, I've read Splinter of the Mind's Eye, which is another book written by Foster. So Foster is an incredible writer. And I feel like when I read Alan Dean Foster, I'm reading up. He makes me a better reader because of the way he uses his language and even just the word choices and things like that. So I think it's awesome. He does such a great job. So this one, you can kind of see it there. It actually says it is a Pip and Flicks adventure. So what is a Pip and Flicks adventure? Well, Pip and Flicks is actually a series. So this is book number 15 of that series. I've not read even book number 1, let alone 2 through 14. So this will be the first Pip and Flicks novel I own. But if looking on Goodreads tells me anything, I think this is one that you can kind of read out of order because the series, like from 1 to 15, was not released in order. So it was not, the publication order is not the series order, if that makes sense. And so I think that this is probably one that I could read, even though I haven't read anything else. So this is another sci-fi book. And basically, this boy, from what I can tell, it was born special, born with some special characteristics of some sort. Special abilities is the word I was looking for. And his name is Flinks, Pip and Flinks. And then this little, well, now this is a snake. So I read that it was like a dragon. So I don't know, but that's Pip either way. So I don't know exactly what happens in this particular story, but apparently it's kind of this, the story of how these two go about their lives, I guess. So we'll see. I don't know. It's Alan Dean Foster and it was $1 and it's, hardcover. So I grabbed it. Why not? These next two were other purchases I grabbed from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to show them together because they're kind of related. So looking at the spine, you can see one of my favorite logos right now is that Hard Case Crime logo. So I was able to find 2 hardcover Hard Case Crime books from the Dollar Tree, which is awesome. I mean, look at these covers. They are gorgeous. I love them so much. So this first one is written by Gore Vidal, and this says it is the lost pulp novel by Gore Vidal. This is Thieves Fall Out. And then this one is a Lawrence Block novel. This one says the long-lost first crime novel by the author of A Walk Among the Tombstones. So Lawrence Block is obviously a pretty well-known author, as is Gore Vidal. So this one he's actually writing as Cameron K when it came out. So I don't know. I'm really excited to read these. I love the hard case crime books I've read so far. Joyland was the most recent one I grabbed, and though it was very much a different type of hard case crime book, I still really liked it. So I really love this publishing company, and the fact that I found these for $1, I mean, obviously I could not pass them up. So I know very little about what they are other than they're going to be, you know, pulpy noir stories, and that's plenty enough for me. So super excited that I found these ones and can't wait to dive into them. So, speaking of Alan Dean Foster and how much I enjoyed him, I actually had to grab a couple other ones that I've been wanting for a while now, and I just have not been able to find them in stores whatsoever. So, I finally just said, you know what? These are only $7.99 each on Amazon. I have the third book in this series, and they're all novelizations, so bonus points for that. So, I grabbed Alien and Aliens. So these are two books, at least Alien is considered one of Foster's best works along with Star Wars A New Hope. So I cannot wait to get to these. I'm surprised how thick these are. Like Alien looks like it's about just under 300 pages and Aliens is just over 300 pages. So these are pretty lengthy for novelizations, which I actually have an even longer novelization that I'll talk about in a minute, but I want to read these like right now, but I didn't put them on my June TBR for whatever reason. So I think they're going to be a July read, the first one at least. I guarantee I won't get through 2 in 1 month, but cannot wait to get to these. I really enjoy what I've read of Foster, and I love his novelization work, so the last 3 books I picked up last month were actually part of a buy 2, get 1 free sale from eBay, of all places. I haven't bought anything from eBay in years, but my buddy actually pointed out that they had book 2 of the Sixth Sense Secrets from Beyond series on eBay. He grabbed one because he needed it, and there was one extra one on there, so he pointed it out to me and I grabbed it. So now I am so excited because I have fulfilled my goal of owning the entire trilogy that until recently I didn't even know existed, and the fact that it does exist still blows my mind every time I think about it. But anyway, this is the Sixth Sense Secrets from Beyond Runaway, and of course, like I said, book 2 of this 3-book series. So I have read books 1, and I did read this one already, and then I'm going to read book 2 this month. I'm sorry, book 3 this month, and I will then do a trilogy review. So I will warn you, don't rush out and buy these, because you need to know what you're getting into before you do that, so that you're not disappointed, because these are strange. But all 3 of these books are written by David Benjamin, and they are very interesting. And again, the fact that they exist is just weird to me. So this was the first one that drew my attention to this eBay seller, and then I saw that buy 2 get 1 free sign, so I was like, well, I'd better look and see what else there is. And that's when I came across X-Men 2, written by Chris Claremont. As I was talking about chunky novelizations, this guy is over 400 pages. It is a big one. So, you know, I have seen X-Men 2. I think I've seen the whole original trilogy of the X-Men movies, but I don't really remember them too much with all the newer ones that have been out since then. I haven't seen them in a long time. But this one should be a really fun to read because, again, it's a novelization and of a superhero franchise. So I do need to grab the first one and the third one to have that full trilogy, but I couldn't pass this up because it was part of the buy 2 get 1 free sale. And the third book I grabbed from that sale is another novelization to a film that I just used to love when I first saw it in theaters. Like, the opening 10 minutes of this movie scared the hell out of me. I've not seen it, I don't think, since I saw it in theaters. Maybe once on DVD, because I actually just came across, when I was going through all my movies, I came across a 3-pack of DVD, a DVD 3-pack that has the first one, the second one, and the third one in the Boogeyman film franchise. So maybe I've watched it since then, but I don't remember too much of it at this point. So I want to read this again and then watch the film because this just looks awesome. So this one is a novelization by Jeff Mariotti, who is actually, I recognize that name just from doing my novelization research, so it might be somebody that you recognize as well. So, Boogeyman by Jeff Mariotti, based on the screenplay by Eric Kripke, Juliet Snowden, and Styles White. So, should be a heck of a good time. All right, so that is going to do it for my May 2020 book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And please let me know down in the comments below, what should I prioritize? What looks the most interesting to you that you might want to hear me talk about in a future review? I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments section below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to Cinefessions here on YouTube. And if not, thank you anyway for watching. I do really appreciate it. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.